So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Dragapult, the fastest Pokemon in the game. Ignore Electro, doesn't count. It's the fastest Pokemon in the game that you need to account for. So, Dragapult is a Pokemon that always comes into play when you're thinking about speed control. Does this Pokemon outspeed Dragapult in the Tailwind? Does it outspeed Dragapult with the Choice Scarf? You don't need to outspeed a Dragapult in the Tailwind. You only need to outspeed a Talonflame, because Dragapult should not be run max speed. Like, I am very, very adamant on this fact. Going max speed on your Dragapult is one of the biggest waste of EVs you could possibly do. So look at the speeds here. Barraskewda, not important, it will be Swift Swimming anyway. They're not allowed. Jolteon, not really a Pokemon. You'll see it almost never. Then it's Talonflame. Talonflame's a Pokemon, so you should outspeed a Talonflame. That's what these EVs do. You don't need all these extra EVs to go for a potential speed tie with a Dragapult that's almost non-existent for some reason, just to lose it 50% of the time. Not worth it. Put the EVs into HP instead, because its bulk is not great. These EVs will go a long way. Max speed is totally pointless. So, that's what these EVs do. Outspeed's a Talonflame, max special attack for the damage output, and then some HP EVs that will help. They will come into play for sure. So, very good coverage with the choice specs as well. Draco Meteor is going to hit very hard, even with only 100 special attack. Shadow Ball is going to be consistent with the stab as well. Flamethrower with Dragon, like Fire and Dragon, is a very good coverage thing. And then Terra Blast is going to be a defensive Terra typing while also being able to hit fairies, which is quite nice as well. So very good coverage for this special Dragapult. Doesn't need to be run special though. It can very much pre-run physical, because its physical attack is better than its special attack by 20, which is significant. On the specs one, I should say, Infiltrator is better than Clear Body, because you don't really care about your stat drops too much apart from Snarls, but they're not too common. Infiltrator going through substitutes and Reflects and Light Screens is very nice indeed. Curse Body is also justifiable on the choice specs. When that activates, that can be very crippling, but that's inconsistent. Infiltrator will always work. But on the physical set, you should run Clear Body because of the Intimidates that could be running around. This is slightly less consistent than the specs one would be. It's stronger, but the fact that you have to go for Phantom Force as your physical ghost move is a little bit awkward. You could very easily just run a Terra Blast that is Ghost, but Terra Dragon is preferred for Banded Dragon because you want to be spamming Banded Dragon Darts with a Terra typing, because they are very strong. That's what you want. You can definitely go with Terra Ghost and have Terra Blast over one of these. I wouldn't recommend it over Phantom Force, because sometimes you don't want to be using your Terra to turn into a Ghost. You want to use it on something else, and then you don't have a Ghost attack you can go for, so I'd probably have it over U-turn if you did want to go for that. But the point of the Banded Dragapult would be to spam the Banded Dragon Darts, so I would prefer that over the Ghost and just accept that Phantom Force is a bit annoying. But it can be good at it because it has built-in Protect breaking, so that's not the worst thing to lock into. And same EV spread here, except the attack is the EVs are in attack instead of special attack because it's physical this time. You can very much set up with the Dragapult. It learns Dragon Dance. The coverage is a little bit awkward, but that's somewhat patched by Terra Blast. So Phantom Force is awkward. You could have Phantom Force over Terra Blast and just have Dragon Dance and Phantom Force, but Phantom Force is still a little bit of an awkward move. Terra Blast means that you've got the great coverage in Dragon and Fire, and then you turn into a defensive type against fairies as well. So then you don't particularly need Phantom Force as much. But with this one, you are reasonably committing to this is your Terra Pokemon, which isn't the worst thing. Like, you can build teams around that, but this one is much more dedicated as a Terra Pokemon. But like I said, you can just go Phantom Force instead, and probably go Steel as the Terra typing if you do that. But this is perfectly fine as well, and then you'll be able to hit pretty hard with the Life Orb as well. I would probably have Life Orb on the Dragon Dance set. There's other items you can have, but you probably need the extra kick that Life Orb will give you with the Dragon Dance. Even though you're increasing your attack, I would still recommend that. And then it definitely can be run supportive as well. Definitely still can be. The bulk is pretty reasonable if you pair it with Will-O-Wisp and Light Screen. And then you just bulk it out completely. Like, that is not unreasonable bulk while being so fast. So this is very good support. Shadow Ball's just there for some chip damage. Will-O-Wisp and Light Screen, very good damage reduction. You don't need something like Prankster Screens because Dragapult's outspeeding everything anyway, so it doesn't need to be Prankster Screens. You could run Reflect over the Will-O-Wisp just for a bit of consistency, because Will-O-Wisp can miss. If you do that, you should definitely run the Light Clay. Whereas Light Clay, probably it's L. There we go. That would also be fine, but I would say that Will-O-Wisp is much more crippling when it works. 85% accuracy, you may not want to go with that, but that is perfectly fine as well. You could definitely just go with the screens over Helping Hand as well, and then just have extra damage reduction in Will-O-Wisp. That would be fine. But Helping Hand is a pretty nice move, given that this Dragapult won't be doing much damage at all. Helping Hand will help you do extra damage, because it will help the partners of the Dragapult instead. Otherwise, this Dragapult might have the potential to be too passive. if that is the case. So, yeah, it's still a fantastic Pokemon. Still not sure why it's not used as much as I think it should be, because there's consistently dragons everywhere. This is the fastest dragon. You can just drop a Draco on them before they attack, and then you KO them. Or you can banded Dragon Darts and KO them. So, yeah, this is still a fantastic Pokemon. Even without Dynamax, which it did appreciate for going for the Max Phantasms, this is still perfectly viable in this format. I think that A is justified as well. It's very strong. No one's using it at the moment. And again, I don't want to say hidden gem, because it's a blaringly obvious gem.